what is the thing that your buyers, your consumers are trying to solve for which they hire your products or services? Take for example, I want to lose weight and I go to the gym. But I'm not going to the gym because I want to go to the gym. I'm going to the gym because I want to lose weight. But why do I want to lose weight?
There's always a why.
There's always a why. So when you find that very intrinsic call to action that I'm feeling for which I now need to go to a gym, you can take that and you can turn it into a credit.
Hi guys, welcome to Buildapalooza, your boardpod.com series for discussing all the frenzies, wildness, and excitement of building a business, whatever business, by everyday young people in Nigeria. I'm your host, Kelechi. And today we have my friend, Nzube Ezudo here. He's the lead at SuperTeam NG. He's going to tell us a lot about building communities around businesses. In today's world where you need a very fat budget for ads, ad spend, and marketing, how can communities make a difference? Let's learn.
Yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, I mean, we finally got to do this, right?
Yeah.
Good. The thing is this, for businesses, the most important thing for businesses is revenue, it's profit, right? It's the reason why they do what they do.
Yeah.
And to really get that, you need something we call customer acquisition cost, right? So if you can keep the cost of acquiring customers down,
Lean,
yeah, you can make more money, you can keep more of the revenue that you make, right? And that gets manifested through marketing. How much are you spending on your marketing? How much are you spending on your comms and all those sort of things, right? And in the traditional business sense, you have set institutions that already handle this. What community does, on the other hand, is it takes the most, I wouldn't say mundane, but the simplest of customer acquisition and basically amplifies it, which is word of mouth. So word of mouth is still the cheapest.
Yeah.
It's still the highest converting, right? But how do you design that? How do you, because people are going to buy from people they trust.
True.
Right? And if that is the case, what you really need is how can we build our business or our product offering in such a way that there is something at the foundation of what we create that makes people that buy from us want to tell their friends about it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's actually where you can now start getting the whole, that's where you open the door for how do we now bring in community into it. Nice. And before we continue, there's something that people don't understand. An audience is not a community.
Okay.
So just because you have a lot of people doesn't mean you have a community, right? Just because you have a lot of people asking about your products doesn't mean you have a community. Just because you have 1 million followers on Instagram doesn't mean you have a community, right? How many people show up to the comment section trying to help other people, right? Other people that actually buy us say, oh, you shouldn't have used it this way. I tried it and this is what happened.
Loyalty, basically.
Actually, loyalty, but more so, they love the brand and they love the offering so much that they're willing to spend their own time to help other people that are actually coming into the product get like a better service.
Yeah, so how do we get to that point as businesses that people are willing to spend their own resources and time to promote ours? What do we need to do? What's the first point or first thing a business needs to build a community, that kind of community?
So to be honest, I think that many businesses aren't even set up to understand community, right? So the thing that matters the most is this. You should have a job that your product does for the customers for which they hire your product. So if you do your job very well, nobody needs your product. That's the thing about business nobody even likes talking about. Like if you solve the problem, for you to really solve the problem, the product shouldn't even exist at that time.
Okay.
Right? Because the problem goes away.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just the sad truth about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is this: what is the thing that your buyers, your consumers are trying to solve, for which they hire your products or services to do? So take for example, I want to lose weight, right? And I go to the gym. But I'm not going to the gym because I want to go to the gym. I'm going to the gym because I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
But why do I want to lose weight?
There's always a why.
There's always a why. So when you find that very intrinsic call to action that I'm feeling, for which I now need to go to a gym, you can take that and you can turn it into a creed, right? And this is where the people that do community very well
Get it right.
very well. Yeah. So the guy that handles Beyonce's Beehive community, he said it like basically handles Beyonce's internal community building. He said it about the Beehives. He said, "You don't build community, you encourage it." Right. So there are people out there that are already carrying the cross for the community, for your brand, for whatever it is you're trying to do. Right. You find them and you enable them.
I see.
Yeah, you find them and you enable them. So you don't even know how they're going to use your products. You don't have an idea how they're going to use it, right? So your job is find those people. So create an amazing product, right? But have a budget for the people that always show up to help others. So the test for a community really is when you're not in the room, when you're not in the conversation, is value still created amongst the consumers of your products or services, right? So that's basically it. But I mean, to kind of piggyback back to your question, the main thing is for a brand to create community, you need to how would I put it? You need to have a creed. You need to have like a creed, something
they just to help the users understand creed better in this sense, especially as it concerns businesses.
Yeah.
Probably that means your vision and mission, like why you exist, why the problem you really want to solve. I mean, could you break that down a bit?
Okay, fine. So, let's use examples.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Summer body is a call to action to go to the gym, right? So, Thank God It's Friday is a call to action to go drink.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's actually what it is, right? So there's these pockets of call to actions that get people at a very emotional level. So for us, what we do at SuperTeam Nigeria, our creed is basically that earning is actually better than buying blockchain assets, right? So what we really do is we find people that want to earn, right? And we give them opportunities. We introduce them to the opportunities. We also kind of hold their hands towards the opportunities to earn in the blockchain space, right? So that's a different way of approaching it. I mean, the way others do it is, let's get a crowd and that's an audience, that's not a community. You need people that start earning to the point where now other people are actually earning from them, but they're now preaching that mentality down the chain. Right. So that's basically it.
So two things that I got from you. Number one is that you don't build a community. I mean, at least not very explicitly. You encourage it.
Yeah.
Right. And number two is even if obviously, every business needs to be deliberate about the fact that that product or service needs to create loyal customers who would want to preach it. I mean, it starts with building something that people want and making sure that people actually love what you have built, the service or the product, right? And if that happens, word of mouth will continue to go out, right? So, but the second thing I hear is that having that at the back of your mind helps you to also think about a creed.
Yes.
A creed, some sort of emotional attachment to your product. Yeah. So when building a product, when building a business, you would want to think about something that people will resonate very emotionally to.
Yes.
I read something recently I was looking through, I was rewriting or redoing or just modifying my business model. So I was redoing my business model canvas. And one of the articles I read talked about tapping into people's emotions.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
so I think that this is one very important thing in helping people want to build a community around your business. So
I'll use another example. For example, right? I'd use there's this Dove ad where Dove got this guy, a sketch artist. He helps I think it was the FBI or the CIA, one of them, or one of the intelligence agencies, sketch out people, and they use it to kind of make busts, right? So Dove basically believed that beauty is from within. That if you feel beautiful, it will resonate. Right? So the ad was an experiment to basically say they got a bunch of people, right? And they put all of them in a waiting room, and they told them to talk to one another, to just get to know one another, right? And when they did that, they now got the sketch artist to bring one after the other. And the sketch artist will make 2 paintings. The sketch artist will paint the person when they describe themselves.
Okay.
And they will now paint the person when someone else describes them. And for every time someone else described them, they looked better. They looked happier, right?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is like, it's from within, right? Like, now imagine, I think the ad at the time was like 7 years ago or something, I think 11 or 7 now, it's been a while. I'm sorry I'm dating myself here. But the thing with that is that you watch that ad and you actually understand that I don't really need to buy all this expensive makeup. Do I really need to? Right? I mean, if I look good, if I feel good,
then you'll
maybe
look good.
It resonates with people, right? Like, so those sort of things where, like, look at Nike, perfect example. Nike, I mean, their slogan is their creed.
Yeah.
Just do it. You don't have to jump high like Michael Jordan, but jump nonetheless.
Yes.
You don't have to swing your racket like Serena, but swing nonetheless.
Yeah.
Right. So it's that whole where now I'm okay. Now I can just wear my shoes even if I think I'm overweight. Just go run. Just go do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, because whenever that comes on, you're like, okay, fine. Now when you look at the when you look at the commercials, and you see how diverse they are. Right? I mean, they're using people in Arab, like they're basically saying, no, we are going to be as punchy as possible, because what we really want is we want people to get up and go do something.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the thing is, when you have this in mind, right, it becomes better to kind of build your brand. But then again, this is just the surface of community. There are more things that, I mean, it's a different mind swap. It's a different mind change to move from business and capitalism to community.
So that brings me to my next question. Okay. What do I need, whether it's in my mindset or in my resources or even in my character and traits to build a successful community? Remember, we've talked about the fact that you don't particularly build communities, you enable it, right?
Encourage it, yeah.
Encourage it. But obviously, we talked about the fact that you also have to bear this in mind while building a business. You would want people to actually carry your business on the head.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yes. So, but how, if I were to encourage communities or even build it, whatever that means, what do I need? What kind of traits do I need? What kind of resources do I need, to be able to do that successfully?
Okay, fine. So, I think it's in 2 parts. I think it's in personnel and processes, right? So personnel is basically you that is building the community, right? If you are egocentric, you're going to suffer. Because the whole idea is that there are people in the community that would replace you. It's the goal, actually, right? You should program yourself out of it if the community works, right? It should be like a flywheel at that time. Right, that's one. You should have. You should not micromanage.
Okay.
Right. People are going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes.
Sorry for just cutting you a bit short here. Are we talking about the people who are leading communities here, or the businesses that encourage communities.
Yeah. So for you to even think about, so let's say you want to start a community as a business, or you're contemplating it, you should know the personal traits you have for which it will be a losing battle.
Okay.
Right? You should. So I mean, let me kind of create like a small story around. I mean, not really community, but it works nonetheless.
Okay.
Toyota, the original founder of the Toyota company. I mean, the family name is actually Toyota, not Toyota, actually. Yeah. So he went to America and he saw the future. According to his recollection, he saw the future when he looked at the modeling, the T model, the Henry Ford T model, and the supermarket tills where people were actually standing in till. People don't even know that used to be an innovation where you go to like a supermarket and people are standing in a straight line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I mean, when we go to a market, nobody stands in a straight line here, right? So we take it for granted, like standing in a straight line in a till was actually innovation at the time.
Oh, wow.
You know, so he saw it and he said, listen, I am going to, that the auto business is the future. That building cars is the future. I've seen it because I've seen what Henry Ford did. But if I combine that with this one, with what I'm seeing with the till here, we could basically create something interesting, right? But when he came home, he told his son, I've seen the future, but I cannot build it. Because if I build it, I will build it with the bias of a loom maker. So what Toyota, the company, was doing was they were actually making loom machines that basically made wool.
Yeah, weaves.
That's basically what the company was. Like, they're actually still...
Oh, before they transitioned into
yes.
making.
I mean, there's still Toyota loom machines currently, like in the gene... I think Levi still uses them, right? Yeah. But he told his son that I cannot build it because I would keep building it like a loom business.
Yeah.
So he made his son promise him to go learn the auto business, right? Now, the reason why I bring that is a man that understands his own limitations and said, I'm not going to force this. So take that in, like, use that as context for in our world.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who micromanages a lot, if you always want to be the face of the company, you will struggle building a community because there will be somebody somewhere that gravitates towards your community, that believes in your community so much that the way they rally people around, they might actually
do it better than you.
Right? So if you're an ego person, just know that it's going to be bruised, right? You know, but also the people that you find, it is meritocratic in nature. The people that you find to say, okay, you handle this, you handle this, you handle this. In community building, the nodes emerge. So the people that would handle responsibilities, they emerge. They're not chosen. They emerge. So for SuperTeam, for example, a lot of our state captains were actually bounty winners. They actually won bounties on SuperTeam Earn, right? So SuperTeam Earn is basically where we put up bounties from different companies in the Solana ecosystem, and people go there to kind of do bounties. So we literally pay people to build their proof of work. It's like paying you to write your CV, basically. Literally, that we do that, right? So those are the sort of things where, like, that's how we kind of picked some of them. They were talking about Solana when nobody was there. They were talking about SuperTeam when nobody was there. They were basically writing stuff when nobody was even paying anybody for anything. Like, it was love, it was pure love, right? So our job was to, now taking that same creed where you don't build community, you encourage it, identify the people that were true believers. So something that we also use internally a lot at SuperTeam, right, is we're looking for true believers. So true believers are the people that are not scared to call you out and say, no, we're not going to do it like that. That's not how we believe things. They're true believers. They would fight your fights. They will fight your battles, right? You know, and it's something that happened with Beyonce and the Beehives. You dare not talk about Beyonce on the internet. They will literally shred you to bits, right? You know, so those are the sort of things. I mean, there are many places you can actually see that. Take Apple, for example. Apple, I mean, they call them Apple fanboys. Like, you can't say anything and, like, they'll come for you. They'll come for you. They'll keep repping the brands that they believe in. And the companies understand this. So the companies that are really good at that understand, okay, you know what? These are the people we can identify in our comms. And we can keep encouraging them. So bring them to events, bring them to a whole lot of things, those sort of things.
Okay, this is interesting, right? Let's quickly recount some of the things that you just said to build a successful community. You've talked about the first two. We've talked about the first two.
Creed.
Now, now you've talked about the fact that you can't build a community if you are with ego.
Yeah, you can't.
Right? And then something else that you talked about is you need to have an eye
for identifying
true believers.
Yes.
You know, so you have a creed that people believe in, and then you need to be able to identify them because
yes.
they are the ones who would really do these things. And finally, you need to be able to incentivize people and not micromanage.
Yes, yeah.
You know, but in all of this, right? How compared to the huge marketing budgets and ads spend that businesses really need to invest in for their businesses to go to the next level, how can community, okay, I'll rephrase it, is community cheaper or just more effective than marketing, traditional marketing and advertisement?
I think it's both, to be honest.
Oh.
Right? Because with being effective, it is effective because you have people that don't treat your product like a product. They treat it like a religion. They treat it like, I mean, take for example, 11 men chasing a football. Doesn't really make sense if you think about it. Like it's 11 men, right? But what is the size of the new camp? What is the size of Santiago Bernabeu? What is the size of the Emirates? Right? I mean, Man U won an FA Cup, and you see people in Kenya literally put out memes that there is no way in the world that Man U could have paid for that advertising.
No way.
No way, right? Because people love it. Take for example, right? Let's even take political parties. Let's say you wear a jersey now that has LP on it, and you go to play a football match on a Saturday, just regular Sunday, and somebody shows up with an APC, this thing, and they put two of you together. Now is a fight. Like I don't care. I didn't even know you before you came here. But now we fight. And that's the thing. People gravitate towards that, right? So once you find it, right, your job is to fine. How can we put that? How can we harness it? And it's cheaper. Like it's always cheap. The point is, it is complicated to design. If you don't know what you're doing, you must, in some sense, you must die. Your capitalist brain must die for the community founder to kind of rise.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you find someone who is very open to.
Yeah, find someone to do it.
Yeah.
And you literally bite your tongue every time they make a mistake that you feel that you should jump in.
Yeah,
you must be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
But do you jump in at those times, or you give them free hand and see how it?
So there are times you show up. So I'll put it this way, right? In capitalism, you want to be the Steve Jobs. In community, you want to be the Oracle, where they only come to you when they can't do it anymore, right? Like, that's when you show up. And when you show up, everybody in the horde is like, oh, the Oracle is out.
You have finally done something that unleashes
the Oracle is out.
Oracle,
right? And that's actually how you want it, right? Because the Oracle shouldn't be out there every day. If not, it dilutes the brand.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. This is a very interesting conversation because at my company Tribe Square, we have really been thinking about communities, from communities around talents to communities around products and all. And I find that we keep going back and forth on this. But I've learned a lot, from what you have said. And I will try to reel some of those things out. Number one, once again, guys, number one, when trying to build a community, is something you need to know is you obviously don't build a community per se, right?
You find your true believers in your customers.
And encourage them.
You find your true believers in your employees.
Yeah. In your employees as well.
So the first customers a business has is the employees.
Sure.
Yeah. If you have employees that love it, can you imagine how they talk to customers when they interact with them?
Yeah, I see.
If the employees don't like the products, they don't But if the employees love the product, I mean, you would see them light up when they. I mean, have you gone to like a restaurant where the employees are so nice and they're like, "Oh, are you lactose intolerant? You know what? Let me help you pick this." Like you love to go back there because they care. You know.
They
So
actually
those
care.
are the sort of things.
I mean-
So I mean, kind of recount a creed. You must have a creed, like a call to action, like that people emotionally believe in, right? You shouldn't be somebody that micromanages, right? You shouldn't be somebody that has an ego, right?
Yeah, you should have an eye for
Have an
identifying.
eye for identifying here. Then also design incentives properly.
Yeah.
You should design your incentives properly. So instead of the way we do marketing budgets, take some part of that budget and create an internal economy.
Yeah.
Create an internal economy. It could be contests. It could be, oh, if you do this, you get this. It could be, oh, let's do a competition. Whoever gets to the very top gets this, right? But something that creates opportunities for them to meet themselves. So for the people that were in your comment section talking and they're in the same state, well, you know what? Oh, we're doing like this new ball. If you're around, show up.
Yeah.
So we can even tell, oh, are you the one that is, oh, you were the one that was fighting that other day.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
The moment you have this in real life meetings, right? And there's, so the bonds within
Will continue to
your,
grow.
will continue to grow. And once the bonds grow, they will show up to your conferences. They will shout. They will pack out. So those are the sort of
Awesome,
things.
guys. Awesome. I don't think we can wrap this conversation just yet. We would definitely need to find more time to talk about communities because I feel like it is very, very critical. One thing that every business person should know is if you don't build a great business, you would definitely lose out on building a good community.
Oh, yes.
Right? So when building a business, you should, or when, think about it this way, if I must build a community that will help me, sell, that will help me make more revenue, and save costs, then I must build a great business because that's the only way to do that. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to us. Thank you so much, Nzube, for coming around. Guys, please, you need to follow us if you haven't. I mean, why are you not following us? If you're building a business in Nigeria, you should be following us on Instagram, at Buildapalooza, at budgepod.com. You'll find us on those channels.
Also, shameless plug, follow SuperTeam Nigeria.
Yes, follow SuperTeam Nigeria. Yes. It's a shameless plug. All right, yes. Follow us, comment, like, share. Until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.